So I'm gonna wait for everybody to open up their Lightroom catalogs that we worked on. And this is gonna be the workflow that you should be following from like here on out. Wasn't recording. I don't want to pull up the roll in front of everybody. All right. So, everybody have their Lightroom catalog open?
Yes. Yes.
All right. So, last week we did our pre-processing workflow. So, pre-processing is creating your catalog and then importing your images. And then processing we also did, which was, the pre-processing is your library, your buildings, your collections. We went through that. That video's up. And then we also went to develop. This is your processing step. This is where you actually, did your global edits. Let's say I want to, just fix things here and there. All right, so I did my edits. I worked on my images. Pretend this is 100 of those photos that we kind of worked on. Whatever images you have right now is fine. This is just going to be an example tutorial because we're going to learn now how to post-process, which is going to involve your entire project. So you're going to want to do this step once you have all 100 images and then your 10 selected images. So we're gonna pretend that whatever you imported last week, that's gonna be your bulk images. So, everybody has it open? Or we're getting there? All right, let's get started. So, we are in our development panel. We already processed our images. Hopefully your 10 good ones that you wanted to submit, but we're not going to worry about that part right now. Right now, we're going to go to library and make sure that we went to our catalog that has our images in it. And once we're in here, we're going to simply press Command A. And it's going to highlight everything. So everything went like light gray. If you want to undo this, go ahead and click on the dark gray over here. It'll deselect everything. But the easiest way to do it is Command A for everything. Let's say there's some things here you don't want to select. It's fine. You can hold Command on your keyboard or Control on Windows and start selecting these one by one, touching the gray part of the artboard. I think you can also select the photo, yeah. Just be careful you don't touch these bottom parts or this little circle right here. So I'm gonna pretend that these are my 100 images, my bulk images that I want to export. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to go to File, Export, and I'm going to leave it to specific folder and choose. Once we're in here, we're going to go to our external drive. I'm just going to use my pretend external drive for this demo purposes. So we find our external drive and then we make a new folder and we call it contact sheet.
What?
All right, so remember, we go to our external drive. Mine just says pretend. Yours is gonna be over here in locations. And we make a folder called contact sheet. And that is where we're gonna export all of our images to. Put in subfolder, we don't want a subfolder. Add this to catalog, nope. All right, now, this is gonna be very important. For this project, I'm gonna want you to title these your initials. Mine would be Pedro Chavez PA, Project 1. And then make sure that you have one of X of Y selected, starting with number 1. This will allow me to know that there's 100 at the end of it, because I'm not going to count them, one by one. All right, we got that. We're not doing video. We're going to make these JPEGs. They don't need to be huge. Quality can be anywhere between like 80 to 100. We don't need to limit the file size. sRGB is fine. We don't worry about HDR output. All right. Credentials, don't mess around with that. Image sizing. Change this to 180. They don't need to be 300 because we're not going to print them. If you are ever going to print them, remember 300 is the goal. Because these are going to be viewed online, 180 is fine. Sharpening, we can leave that alone. Metadata, include metadata. Watermarking, for this class we don't have to. And then post-processing, show in folder. Show in folder, usually by default it'll be do nothing. I do show in folder because sometimes I'll be waiting and I didn't realize it was done and I wasted time. So when it pops up, it's like, okay, no, I know I'm ready now. So once we have all that checked out, we export. It's going to be thinking. You're going to do 100 images, so yours is going to be thinking for a while, so don't freak out. There. Now we have our folder with our contact sheet images in it. Now we can minimize Lightroom. This is a point where we get into Photoshop. But yeah, this is a point where we get into Photoshop. So everybody go ahead and open up Photoshop.
Oh.
So I'm going to show you how to make the contact sheet first, and then I'll show you like a couple of things you can do in Photoshop as far as editing your photos goes. So for your contact sheet, we're going to go to over here where it says File. This is very important. This is like actually crucial, you guys, because this is the part that can go wrong the easiest. So I really need you to pay attention. Take notes if you have to. I'll upload this later. But once you have Photoshop open, make sure that the top of the screen says Photoshop in case you're not like at 100%. Go to File. Remember this bar over here? Alan showed us all that information. Go all the way down to Automate. And then once we're in Automate, we scroll to Contact Sheet 2. This is a sequence of code that basically does all the work for us. So we're not going to have to manually create a contact sheet. So this is very important. One more time. You open Photoshop. Once it's loaded, before you open, create anything, you're just going to go to File, Automate, and Contact Sheet 2. We're going to click on that. Now we're going to get greeted with this menu. It says Contact Sheet 2. This is where things can also get a little bit hairy, but we're going to go through everything one by one. What this does is this is going to tell us how we're going to tell it how we want it to make our contact sheet. And the beauty of this is that it'll allow us to just straight up use a folder. Now we made a folder that had our exports on it. So let's go to Choose.
Yeah.
And then we're going to go to our external drive. Mine's a pretend one, so don't follow exactly what I'm doing. But you go to your external drive and you find your contact sheet folder. You click on it and you're going to see on the preview that all your photos are here. Don't worry about these over here. We just want this folder. And we click Open. Depending on how many you have, it may take a while to think a little bit. Make sure that subfolders are not included. We don't need to worry about that right now. Let's see. So there you go. That's how you get all the photos in there. Now this is the kind of crazy part. There's multiple ways to do this, but the way I was looking up to make it more, easily more aesthetic would be to change this to centimeters. You can do pixels, inches if you want. The PDF, well, we can try inches. The PDF is basically going to be in an 8x10 format, so you could print this ideally. Your resolution, you again want this around 180. It'll give you the versatility to be really good on screen or print. RGB is good, 8-bit is good. Profile, leave it as is. And then placement. All right. So the real reason we want the contact sheet is to have the page with all the thumbnails of the images. So let me double check my note. Yeah. So we're gonna leave it on across first. Columns. We don't need 8 columns. Let's try, for example purposes, 3 columns and 4 to... Let's see what happens if we do 3 columns with 4 images per row. Don't rotate for best fit. Use auto spacing. And the font you can keep it at 12. At this point, we're ready to press OK. Does anyone have any questions so far? So one more time. The folder we selected by going into our external drive and finding the contact sheet folder we made. And we just only select the folder. Yes?
The contact sheet is just going to get the whole folder that's called contact sheet.
Well, I mean, I named the folder contact sheet, but wait. What were you asking, sorry?
Like, you make a new folder, or is it like an existing folder called contact sheet?
We named it that. We named the folder that already. We don't need to make a new folder. Everything we exported to a folder from Lightroom. I'll go over there in a bit. But this is the most important parts over here. So we're gonna emulate an 8x10 piece of paper, 180 pixels per inch resolution. 3 columns. We're gonna try 4 rows, see what happens. You might want to switch this to 5 rows. Depends. And then we're gonna hit OK. You're gonna leave it alone, and it's gonna build this for you. Having 100, it may actually make about 10 to 12 sheets, and that's okay. So this is what happens when you I only did a few, so I only have 1 sheet. This is what's called a contact sheet. This is gonna let you, have a preview of all your images, like of a proof for, clients to see them small, or in this case scenario, for me to see the bulk of your images already ready in a document. So that way you don't have to upload 100 images to me. I can see your bulk images through here. So once we have this down, we go to File and then Save As. So name it contact sheet and then your initials. That was for me, contact sheet PA. Get rid of that. And make sure that this is a Photoshop PDF. So the good thing about this is that it works as both a PDF file that you can open with any kind of PDF program or upload as a PDF, but it still has Photoshop data in it. So you can also manipulate it, see metadata, things like that. Anyway. And then we want to save that in a folder in our external drive. So I'm going to go again to my external drive, and I'm going to make a new folder and call it Project 1. Because this is now where we're going to start building our, what is called deliverables, basically what I'm expecting you to turn in. So contact sheet, Project 1. You're going to end up with multiple contact sheets. So just do this, name each one as they come out, like 1, 2, 3, 4. So for example, this is contact sheet 1. You hit save, and it'll save it. Oh, it'll take a minute. Little rainbow circle of thought. Sure. All right. High quality. Yeah. Don't mess around with anything. This is all fine. Acrobat 5, standard, high quality. Save PDF. Preservation entity capabilities. Sure. Now we can close Photoshop, and we can find our our external drive. Like I repeat, mine's a pretend external drive. If I go to project 1, there's my contact sheet. It's a PDF, and it has my photos on it. I'm gonna expect this for your bulk photos, the 10 of each category. So that's how you make the contact sheet. In the event you have multiple contact sheets, that's fine. Upload them all. If you want to learn how to make them all into one file, I can show you guys how to do that individually. But it doesn't matter if you have 10 contact sheets. Just submit all of those through module 4, and then that's the contact sheet. As far as your 10 images, let's go back into Lightroom, and then same thing. We're gonna select our images one by one. Let's say this is one of my images right here that I want. I'm gonna individually export it. Same thing, choose. But this time go to project 1, because this is now how we're just gonna go straight into our 10 images. So we're gonna put it in there. And then over here, instead of naming it custom one of whatever, just put custom name, put your initial, and I'm gonna pretend that this image I selected is my scale, because you know it shows a scale between two objects. So I'm just gonna name it initial scale. Everything else is the same. JPEG quality, make it 100 if you like. Don't worry about limiting file size. Keep going down, and then export. And then it shows up in the folder, project 1. So for you, project 1 is gonna have your contact sheets and your 10 JPEGs. Make sense so far? Got it, you guys? Okay, well, we're gonna try this on our own right after break. 1 second. And then finally, we're gonna select all these and submit them onto the module 1. I'll show you guys how to submit them to module 1 after break. But I think this is, after those two tutorials, I feel this is a good opportunity for you guys to take your break a little bit early, come back in 10 minutes, and then it's gonna be studio time. You guys are gonna be working on these on your own, attempting to, you know, edit the photos you already took. I'm gonna be walking around helping you guys individually with any questions, anything, see where you guys are in the project, and we'll just take it from there.